Welcome back to KIP TV. Today, we're diving deep into a critical topic that affects millions of Americans every day, being trapped by various socio-economic conditions. From the medical-industrial complex to the two-party system, we'll explore how these systems keep the American people ensnared in a cycle of struggle. Make sure to stick around until the end, as we'll present relevant data and statistics that shed light on this pressing issue. Have you ever wondered what happened to the American dream of opportunity and prosperity? Unfortunately, it has become a nightmare for many citizens. Despite the nation's wealth and resources, a significant portion of the population remains trapped in poverty, struggling to break free from the vicious cycle. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, over 10% of Americans lived below the poverty line as of 2021. The wealth gap is staggering, with the richest 20% owning more wealth than the bottom 80% combined, as reported by the Institute for Policy Studies. It's said that health is wealth, but the American healthcare system often feels like a labyrinth that traps people in a cycle of exorbitant costs and inadequate access to essential services. The United States spends more on healthcare per capita than any other country, yet its health outcomes often lag behind those of other developed nations. Source: the World Bank. A study by the Kaiser Family Foundation found that 45% of adults under 65 reported problems paying medical bills, indicating the burden on ordinary citizens. The educational system. Education is supposed to be a ladder to success, but many Americans feel stuck in a broken system that hinders their upward mobility. The Program for International Student Assessment, PISA, ranked the U.S. 38th out of 71 countries in math and 24th in science proficiency among 15-year-olds. High student loan debt traps many young people, with the total student loan debt surpassing $1.7 trillion as of 2021. Source: the Federal Reserve. Religious institutions and civil liberties. While freedom of religion is a constitutional right, some religious institutions might impose restrictions that limit individual freedoms. According to the Pew Research Center, there has been a decline in religious affiliation in the U.S. over the past decade, with a corresponding rise in the number of religiously unaffiliated individuals. The criminal justice system. The criminal justice system, intended to protect society, has often become a trap, disproportionately affecting marginalized communities and perpetuating a cycle of incarceration. The U.S. has the highest incarceration rate in the world, with over 2.2 million people behind bars, according to the World Prison Brief. The Sentencing Project reports that Black Americans are incarcerated at a rate 5 times higher than white Americans. Unhealthy processed foods and lifestyle. Our modern lifestyles are intertwined with the rise of processed foods and unhealthy habits that contribute to various health issues. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, estimates that over 70% of American adults are either overweight or obese. Obesity-related medical costs in the U.S. reached $147 billion in 2008, source: the CDC. Racism, sexism, and social issues. Social issues like racism and sexism persist in American society, limiting opportunities and creating barriers for certain groups. The gender pay gap remains a significant issue, with women earning around 82 cents for every dollar earned by men. Source: Pew Research Center. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, Black Americans are victims of hate crimes at a rate 3 times higher than white Americans. The influence of money in politics. The U.S. political system can feel like a playground for the wealthy and powerful, with corporate influence often shaping policies. The Center for Responsive Politics estimates that over $14 billion was spent on the 2020 federal elections. The influence of lobbying groups and campaign contributions continues to raise concerns about democracy's integrity. The two-party system. The American political landscape seems divided into two entrenched parties, leaving many feeling trapped without viable alternatives. A Statista poll in 2021 showed that only 28% of Americans identify as Democrats, and 27% as Republicans, while 42% identify as independents. The military-industrial complex. The powerful military-industrial complex has deep-rooted interests, which can influence foreign policies and perpetuate the cycle of global conflicts. The United States spends more on defense than the next 10 countries combined, as reported by the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, SIPRI. Oppressive laws and civil liberties. Some laws designed to protect national security may inadvertently compromise civil liberties, leaving Americans feeling constrained. The American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, has been actively involved in cases challenging oppressive laws that infringe on individual rights. Market manipulations by Wall Street. Wall Street and financial elites' influence on the economy can create a rigged system that favors the wealthy. According to a 2021 report by the Institute for Policy Studies, the total wealth of U.S. billionaires increased by over 44% during the COVID-19 pandemic. Being trapped in socio-economic conditions is a complex and multifaceted issue. As we've seen today, it involves numerous systems and institutions that intertwine to create a challenging environment for millions of Americans. Addressing these challenges requires a collective effort to reform policies, advocate for change, and promote a more inclusive and equitable society. Thank you for joining us on this journey of exploration. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to spread awareness about these pressing issues. Thank you.